me, I refuse to spend money on new clothes, I refuse to spend money on coffee, and I refuse to spend money on a car.
He kind of reminds me of Mike. He kind of reminds me of my husband. Hello there, people. My name is Patricia Bright. Welcome to The Break, where we are giving you the tools and resources to learn, grow, navigate life like a boss, and make money moves in the process. I hope you are doing well. I feel like it has been a hot minute since I've done, yes, a reaction video where I am nosying on how other people spend their money. I love this ish. It makes me excited. I love it. The last time I did this video, I believe that I was drunk. It was late and I'd had a few wines. However, I don't have gin in a can. I've got Red Bull in a can today. So we're covered and we're fine. So today I wanted to react to a couple. I'm married, I'm in a relationship, and we are relatively good with our money together when we sit down and have our conversations. So when I saw this one, I saw like these two millennials in Toronto living on $87,000 a year. I really wanted to see how they spent their money. It's so good. Thank you for sharing with us. So I'm just gonna go ahead and review. I will be stopping and starting and chatting a lot. Throwing in my opinion here and there. So let's go ahead and see how this lovely couple manage their money.
I think that being financially compatible doesn't even necessarily mean that you have the same financial goals or background, but it just means that you have the same comfortability with being open and actually talking about it and future goals as well.
Yes, listen, to the 80% of the women that are watching me and to the men who are also watching me, if you're gonna get into a relationship with someone, you need to be able to talk about money. If you can't, it's gonna be an issue. Money issues and financial issues are the #1 reasons that people get divorced. So why are you not talking about it? What are you scared of? Give me that pin to that bank account, okay? Your money is my money. My money is my money.
I'm Dennis and I'm 24 years old and I make $58,000 Canadian a year.
That's a really good salary for someone who's only 24 years old, and he's got such a cute little baby face. Let's find out what he does, because that's a good salary.
My name's Steph. I just turned 24 years old and I make $60,000 Canadian a year.
Combined, we make $118,000.
This is good. What are they doing?
$118,000 Canadian a year.
And we live in Toronto, Ontario. I work as a strategy and operations coordinator within a human capital team at a Big 4 firm.
And I'm a consultant at a Big 4 firm, and I primarily work on, financial projects.
My people, them. Oh God. I haven't had wine. These are my people. So they work at Big 4 firms. I believe she probably works in human capital, which is what we would call HR. And he works as a financial consultant. Funny enough, that was my background, from investment banking to working at Deloitte as a financial consultant, working with top 20 companies. That was great. I hated it. It was hard work. That's why they have good salaries at so young. This is really hard work that they're working in, but it's a really great stepping stone. And I'll say that, like, in consulting, that's where I learned the most about business and how to think on my feet and pretend like I know what I'm talking about, even if I didn't.
For us, job security was definitely a big thing that we were worried about, and we're still worried about right now. But I think as time progresses and as our companies and we adjust to the climate, I think things are sort of getting better and better by the day.
And this is the thing, right now, job security is wild in these streets. COVID has come and hit. It's kind of fading away a little bit, but I do feel like the market is not as secure as it used to be. And my vibe for everyone is you can't just rely on one source of income, even if it is very good. And, I dealt with redundancy in the past. I remember being so scared of being made redundant, but, having multiple options on the table and multiple streams of revenue is very important.
I didn't really have an emergency fund, or an emergency fund that had really anticipated a climate like this. A lot of the money that I was pushing towards my student loans, I've sort of been able to dial that back and actually put that into savings just in case anything happens.
Really good, really wise. He didn't have an emergency fund. Again, he's 24 years old, so I understand why he doesn't have an emergency fund. But he was saving and also paying off his student loans, which is really good. And if you're someone who's consistently saving, then that's fine. Oh, and he had $1,000 on debt repayment, which I presume is student loans. So yeah, he could dial that back because he's been paying a decent amount towards his student loans, and then make sure there's money aside for a rainy day, because listen, who knew COVID was going to come? And I bet there'll be something else as well in the future. They are saving a lot. They're saving at least, it looks like, almost half of their income, which is over half of their income. Well done. Well done. Although it's a good idea to be investing it, but this is what you have to do. You cannot spend more than you earn. It's the rest. It doesn't make sense. Add it up. Make it make sense. You can't. But as you can see, that there's a good amount that is going towards their savings, and even their rent isn't too high when it comes to a ratio of how much they earn in total. Then I can also see food is their biggest expense. People after my own heart. I'm a foodie as well. They're paying about $600 to $700 a month between the two of them. That is not bad at all. At all. This is a really low rent. I need to move to Toronto. What's going on over there? A 1-bedroom in London, like central London-ish, you'd be looking at least $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
We do live in a pretty small space for downtown Toronto. It's 400 square foot, if that. I think it's pushing it. They call it a 1-bedroom.
Oops, it's tiny. It is small. But do you know what? This is the definition of cut your cloth according to your size.
We've been living together for 2 years now, and we're planning to continue that, but we don't personally feel the need to have any sort of joint accounts. So we have completely separate accounts. We split all of our expenses right down the middle. It's just what works best for us. It works for our budgets, that we can really plan it out.
Okay, they're not married, they're super young, and they've got separate accounts. Yeah, I would too. But it looks like they have a really good relationship around money and like having those conversations around money. Did I have these conversations? Yes, I did have these conversations with my man because we knew we were going to get married. But this is really good. Like, this is mature. I bet someone's sitting next to their boyfriend or girlfriend right now and they're giving them the side eye like, boy, sorry to put you under pressure if you do show this to your other half. But yeah, you don't need to have joint bank accounts. I don't have a joint bank account with my husband, but you do need to have conversations around finance and know what your costs are.
I think one of the huge misconceptions about school in Canada is that schooling is free. Well, guess what? It is not free.
£30,000 or $30,000 in student loan is light work compared to what people are leaving America with. Actually, in the UK, I left uni with, I think my debt was about 22,000. I think it wasn't actually that high. Paid it off at this point in time, but I was lucky when I went to university. It was at the lower rate. Now it's gone higher and higher, which is really unfortunate. Yes, then.
And after 11 months, I'd already paid down over half of the amount. So on a typical month,
no, these guys are wild. In 11 months, he had paid over half of his student loan. At what age? At 21, 22? We love to see it. This is great. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at this scene and he's reading The Intelligent Investor and she's reading White Fragility. I don't know if they did this just to like be posted up for this video, but I love it. If only I was this wise at that age. I wasn't. I was drunk.
I've actually been able to dial that back and throw that money into savings just because they put a halt on, you know, having to pay back your debt up until I think September of this year.
Oh, we love it. He was putting 50% of his income towards his debt.
I was really lucky to graduate with no student loans. It was a nice blessing to have leaving school. And it's nice being with Dennis because then I can start working on our savings, and in the future, when we start investing together, that'll be a good stepping stone for us in the right direction.
It's such a freeing thing to not have that student loan debt over your head, and it really does give you a kickstart. But even if you do have debt, like, don't worry. You just need a plan in place to help you like get through that.
Because of the pandemic, we're actually going to one of the more expensive grocery stores near us. Definitely something that we're choosing to do. It's not a necessity, but it's cleaner. There's more measures in place. We know that the hours are a little bit better. It's easier for us to go there right now. So our budget's gone up by maybe $50 to $75 a month for each of us.
What you can do here is you can actually ask the cashier to split it right down the middle, and we'll do it right at the store. It's just easier for us. When you get the transaction on your credit card or your debit card, it's that exact amount that goes towards your
bills. awkward, but it is wise. It's a bit like, you know, when you go to dinner and they're like, should we all split the bill? And it's a bit like, oh, and then someone brings out their calculator to like split the bill. But no, if you're being smart about your money, even if you're in a couple, and if the decision that you've made is to split costs, you know, straight down the middle, at least if you have that clarity and transparency, there's not going to be any awkward situations. It is what it is, and that is a mature decision. So hey ho guys, love it.
Although I grew up here, I was actually born in Kenya, and my family moved to Canada when I was really, really young. And when it came to money, they had a tough time adjusting to the system here. And although I didn't know much about money when I was younger, I knew that we didn't have a lot of money, but I also associated money with change, and I also associated money with a better future and a better life for your family.
My dad's always been an accountant for as long as I've been alive, so obviously he understands a lot about money. He was our financial guru in our household. He took care of everything, and he was really, really savings focused, and that's the main thing that I knew growing up.
I love these guys. They're like my kind of people here. They're really smart. You can see that their background and their upbringing has really helped them to actually make such good decisions while being so young.
So I think the first time that we talked about money was actually before we started dating. We had a lot of similar coworkers at work that we talked to about, and we actually talked about salary for the first time, which is a huge topic, salary transparency. I worked in HR, him and one of our friends worked in finance, and they made more than me per hour at our job. So that was the first time we really talked about it.
Salary transparency. We love to see it. I think this stuff is really important, and I think the taboos about talking about money and salaries need to be knocked out of the window, because the only person that really not talking about your salary helps or gives the power to is actually the people up above, who don't want people down here to talk about it. So I can see why they're on the trajectory that they're on.
So because Dan and I live together, a lot of our fixed expenses are the same and we split them down the middle. One place that we definitely differ is my coffee budget. I used to spend a lot more before I started budgeting on coffee, as I'm sure a lot of people do.
$37 on coffee a month. Let me just work out that yearly cost. Let me get out the calculator. $444 a year. I actually don't think that's bad. I mean, my delivery bill is a lot higher.
So for me, I refuse to spend money on new clothes, I refuse to spend money on coffee, and I refuse to spend money on a car.
He kind of reminds me of Mike. He kind of reminds me of my husband. We love to see it, that frugal lifestyle. But do you know what? There's balance. Like, sometimes be frugal, but also let's go to Paris. That's what I'm doing anyway.
Before we get started,
Destroy the like button. So we actually started our YouTube channel, Steph and Den, last year in August, but we didn't get serious up until January. A lot of the stuff that we talk about, careers as well. There's not a lot of people who look like me, who are black, that work for a Big Four firm, that are, you know, showcasing, you know, the life and how to get in and how to sort of navigate this whole corporate space as a black person.
My brother from another mother. Yeah, it's a really weird thing, you know, like being black, but also having a corporate background, but also being in social media. We're weird. It's fine. We've accepted it. She's putting $1,300 a month, 50% of her revenue. This is great. This is great. And they're also like, you know, renting as well. She's not living at home. She also doesn't have debt. But I really like to see this. I think that she's obviously got a really good salary, and two, low cost, which means that she's able to do that. Even if you don't have as high a salary, what you can do is keep your expenses low to allow yourself to save a little bit more every single month. This is so good. $16,900 in savings at just turning 24 years old. Wowie. Let's give her 5 years. She'll have at least 150,000 saved. That's a decent deposit, mate.
Right now, I'm actually not even paying back my student loans. All that money is actually going towards my savings, and I'm keeping that aside. And it's sort of helping me with my rainy day fund should anything happen, you know, me losing a job or, you know, anything else happening financially. And eventually I will be able to throw that back into my debt, you know, once things sort of cool down and things change.
$5,000 in saving, but he's also been paying off his debt consistently. I think these guys are fabulous. Love to see it. All right, let's find out about this.
So when it comes to health insurance here in Canada, it's actually free, which is really cool. But when it comes to your prescription drugs, that's usually covered by your employer through insurance that would be deducted from your pay monthly. So for here in Canada, if you were to lose your job, I definitely don't think your employer paid benefits would be something that would be too big of a deal, given that the rest of healthcare is free. So if you were to go to the hospital, it's covered by what we call, your OHIP card for people here in the province of Ontario. So it's completely free.
We love it. I think we've got a very similar format, so you can see your doctor and you can go to hospital. All of that's free. You don't get charged, but you do have to pay for your prescriptions or your medicine. I think it's anywhere from £7.50 to £12 per prescription. I think it can get expensive if you've got like an ongoing disease. And I don't quote me on this because I'm not an expert in the NHS, but when you're pregnant, all your prescriptions are free and for a year after. And also you get free dental care as well when you're pregnant. So there are some benefits about being a woman. And I think our medical system is so amazing. Like, I love the NHS. I love what the UK has. I really don't want anything to happen to it. It's just such a beautiful place and a beautiful system. And I feel like Canada's options seem really good as well.
So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily comfortable with the salary that I'm making, and the reason being is just right now in the days that we're living in, with me having debt, there's just so many expenses, and it kind of just feels like I'm living to get by. And the type of career path that I've chosen, I kind of knew what I was signing up for. You don't necessarily make a lot in the beginning.
I'm sorry, this is all about mindset. Like 60,000 a year is a lot, and obviously I like lots of money as well, okay, don't get twisted, but this is a lot compared to like the average salary of a lot of people, particularly at such a young age. And I can see that he's clearly in one of the most like lucrative career options that you can have straight out after university. Some people don't even have jobs after university, so he's doing amazing. But I can see that he has big goals and big dreams, which means that he's always going to aim really high, which I think there's nothing wrong with that. But he's in a great position.
But hopefully as you gain experience over time, that can translate into more income.
I would say that I do feel comfortable with my salary, given the fact that I'm still in my entry-level role. I'm still working as a coordinator and hopefully working my way up to beyond that. And I learned that starting out when I was young, where I didn't know a lot about where our money went, I just knew it was important to save, to now really being able to share that with other people. That's a barrier. People don't know what their peers make, what their parents make, what it really takes to maintain a lifestyle and avoid lifestyle creep. So for me, the most important money lesson is that you should be transparent with it and just honest with both yourself and others about where you're at with your money.
Look at them. Look at them. Oh my gosh. Oh, piss off. But in the best way possible. In the best way possible. That was really enjoyable, seeing people so young, so on it, so transparent. And I genuinely think this is what the next generation need and want, these conversations, so that we can be, maybe in better situations than our parents, or not end up going in debt and having the worst, financial outcomes that a lot of people are dealing with. So I love them, even though they're punchable. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and also really honest about where they are in their life. So this couple, I really like them. They're so adorable. I feel like you can see that they're people who are definitely wise when it comes to spending their money. And actually, I kind of feel like I want to review people who are buck wild in spending their money. But yeah, I will have a link to that video down below. I hope you enjoyed this review. I wanted to bring some good vibes, and they definitely brought that. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you all later. Bye.